As for me and my house, we will serve you. Yeah, we will serve you.
Hello, my name is Jane and I live in Pitlochry in Highland, Perthshire. Today I'm going to show you how to bake shortbread biscuits. They're so easy to make, even a child can make them. And they don't cost the earth, but you may have to put a padlock on the tin to make sure that you have some left with which to bless your friends and neighbours. So firstly, let's look at the equipment we need. A large bowl, especially if you're going to have lots of little hands in it as well. A 250ml cup measure, a 1 cup measure. You may have a small teacup the right size, or a yoghurt carton, either a chopping board, a large chopping board, or a large clean work surface to work on. And you will need a rolling pin. Now you can buy these, I think I bought this in a charity shop. You can get them in pound shops and supermarkets. Cookie cutters, we call them biscuit cutters. You get them in all shapes, sizes and colours. And if you don't have any, don't worry, you can always use the rim of a plastic tumbler, not a glass one. And lastly, you will need baking trays. If you're buying them, buy the biggest ones that will fit in your oven of the best quality you can afford. Cheap baking trays tend to be thin and wobbly. I've had these for 10 years and I bake all my own bread, all my own oat cakes and all my own biscuits on them, and they're still going strong. Very easy. 1 block of budget butter, 1 cup of corn flour, 1 cup of icing sugar and 2 cups of plain flour. Now it doesn't come much easier than that. So at this point you want to put your oven on at 130 degrees if it's a fan oven, 150 degrees if it's an electric oven, and gas mark 2. Switch your oven on, roll your sleeves up if you've got long sleeves, off with your jewellery if you've got watches and rings, give your hands a really good wash, on with the pinny, and you're ready to roll. And now the real fun starts. The ingredients go into your bowl in any order you like. I always leave the butter out overnight because it wants to be soft but not squidgy. Cut it up into little squares before you put it in the bowl. There you go. Very carefully, of course. And in it goes. But it doesn't need to go in first. It can go in any order. There's 1 cup of corn flour, 1 cup of icing sugar, and 2 cups of plain flour. Now the idea is that you rub all of this together. Now you won't do it in 2 minutes, but I never use a machine for this if I'm only doing 1 batch. I do use a food processor if I'm doing more than 1. But it's a great opportunity to have family time together, to chat, to share, to joke, to pray for your neighbours and your friends that you're going to bless with these amazing shortbread biscuits. I give them away at Christmas time as presents. I give them to neighbours, to friends, to the bin men, to the doctor's surgery, to the dentists. You can give them away for bereavements, for thank you presents. We swap them for fruit and veg from other people's gardens. We do all sorts of things. And what you're doing is you're just moving your fingers round, rubbing in this butter into the dry ingredients. To begin with, it looks as though it's never going to come, and then it comes all of a sudden. Now, see what we've got. We have one nice ball of shortbread dough. Mop up all the little bits at the bottom of your bowl so that you have a clean bowl at the end of it. One of the reasons that I don't use a machine is that if you do it by hand, you only have 1 bowl to wash up, and it's pretty clean by the time you're finished. So there you are. And if you've spilled stuff over, you just mop it all up. Now you will have too much dough to roll out in one batch. So let's halve it and let's roll this out. Sprinkle flour just to stop the rolling pin. Sprinkle flour in your board to stop it sticking, and away you go. This is a lovely bit for children to do as well. Now, the thinner that you roll your mixture and the smaller your biscuits, the more you will get. So generally, I would roll them out to about the thickness of a pound coin. That's just about the right thickness of a pound coin. And that sometimes can give you 60 biscuits if you're using a small cutter. But if you've got a large family and lots of mouths to feed, you might want them a bit thicker. Here we are. That just fits my board nicely. Now I'll do some hearts to begin with. Hearts to bless friends and neighbours. Now, you've cut all the ones that you can from that piece of dough. What I do next is roll that up again, mop up all your bits till you've got a nice clean board, roll it into a nice ball, and put it back in your bowl and take the other one out which has not been rolled before. Dust your board, dust your dough, give it a good start by pressing it out a bit to begin with, and then roll it again. And this time I'll do little flowers. You get more little flowers than you do hearts. It's a metal cutter, sometimes you get a cleaner cut with a metal cutter. Now you can see how many more flowers we've got than hearts for the same amount of dough, roughly. They don't need a lot of space to spread, these ones, so just you can put them fairly close together. Right, now you do the same with this one. Make another little ball. Mop up all the mess on your board so it's nice and clean, and stick it together with the one that you've already got there. There we are. Just give it a bit of a squidge together so that it's all one piece of dough. Give it a bit of a knead. But you don't knead it like bread, you just kind of squeeze it gently together. Shortbread doesn't need it to be kneaded. Right, here we are again. Of course, every time you put more flour on it, your dough becomes a little stiffer and your biscuits are just slightly different, but nobody knows that but you and me. We'll do some with a plastic tumbler just to let you see the difference. These are much bigger and they may need a little bit longer in the oven. So keep rolling and re-rolling until you're left with just a little bit, and then I just simply cut them into squares and put them at the bottom of my baking tray. Don't throw out a single scrap of that, it's too good to waste. Okay, there we are, we're off to put them in the oven now, and shortly you'll see, I've got one more thing to do before I do. Sprinkle them with sugar and put them in the oven for 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Keep an eye on them because shortbread biscuits are to be pale and not brown. So don't worry if they're pale, as long as they've been in for 20 minutes, they should be real shortbread biscuits. Caster sugar sprinkled over them and then into the oven. Here we are, after 20 minutes in the oven. 12 hearts, 25 flowers, 9 big rounds, and 8 what I call scraps. the little bits for the family. So, every blessing, I hope you enjoy making them as much as I've enjoyed showing you how. And I hope you are blessed as you reach out to your neighbours and friends. God bless.
There's no turning back now. We will serve you. We will serve